RIFreeradio.org. This is Mike Liberty coming at you. Not quite live, but something like it on internet radio. My main man, Dave Death, at the booth.
Hey, internet radio. How about RIFreeradio.org?
The best kind there is and ever was.
Love that free radio. You know, they've actually added us to 2 plays a day.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
Yep. I didn't even know we got 1 play a day.
Tony was just humoring us all along.
RIFreeradio.org. Yeah, they're streaming live radio. Well, or streaming recorded radio. Live, recorded. It depends on what time you're listening. But if you listen at 1:30 in the afternoon or 9:30 at night, you will hear yours truly.
The dulcet tones.
And Mr.
13
Liberty.
Folds Radio coming at you.
So, yeah, thank you guys for putting up with us for all this time.
You know what was cool you were telling me about that was that it was due to popular demand. And that was the real surprise. I didn't think anyone was listening to this show, honestly. I mean that. I'm not just being like
I didn't
vain
either.
or whatever.
No, we do this because we love doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So I mean, obviously, if you guys do enjoy listening to us, tell your friends.
You know what? I just figured it all out, dude. None of this is real. You know what this is? This is all an April Fool's prank.
Is it? Oh, he's
That Tony
pranking
is.
us.
Yep, he is.
He doesn't even
trying to
own a radio station.
That is a long con, dude. I'll tell you what.
Oh, you got me on that one, Mr. Jones.
So you know that while we're recording this, at least, it's April Fool's Day.
Yeah, April Fools. You know, April Fools has been around, I think, since 1708.
Is that to the best of your recollection?
This is the best of my recollection.
1708. What spawned the creation of April Fool's Day in that specific year?
Let's see. Once it was to the British, a correspondent to the British Apollo magazine asked, whence proceeds the custom of making April Fools? Oh, the question is one that many people are still asking today. So I guess that was when it was first asked, I guess. Okay. I thought it was 1708. It's actually saying here that I found this place called the Museum of Hoaxes. So,
I can't trust anything that comes out of your mouth next.
It's hoaxes.org. And they have an origin of April Fools. They also have a bunch of the best April Fool's pranks ever played upon the world. And we'll go through some of those throughout the show.
Nice. That sounds good. That sounds like a good celebration.
But I guess it's saying references to April Fool's Day can be found as early as the 1500s. All right, but it wasn't like a yearly thing back then.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes they do an April Fool's year.
Sometimes they don't. It's like a leap year thing
caught
back
with
then.
Your pants down. Literally, in the case of April Fools, if it's pulled off correctly.
Yeah, well, you know, I know there's a lot of people that have pulled it off correctly. I got a great one for you, and this is just a little side note here to the ones that we're going to go through. But I think my favorite one is there's a guy in New York who every year he pulls a great April Fool's prank.
On you?
No, on the city of New York City.
Oh, that's even better.
On the city
Grand.
of New York. Yeah. So each year, in 2000, I guess was the best one. He did a news release informing the media that the 15th annual New York City April Fool's Day parade would begin at noon on 49th Street and proceed down to Fifth Avenue. It would include a beat 'em, bust 'em, book 'em float created by the New York, Los Angeles, and Seattle police departments, portraying themes of brutality, corruption, and incompetence. There would also be an Atlanta Braves baseball tribute to racism float featuring John Rocker spewing racial epithets at the crowd.
All right, get to the turn.
All right. CNN and the Fox affiliate WNYW promptly sent news crews to cover the parade. They arrived at 59th Street at noon and patiently waited for the parade to start. It never did. Obviously, it wasn't happening.
This would be the worst prank ever.
So he had all these news people down there, and I guess the guy's name is Joey Skaggs.
Of course it is.
He'd been issuing press releases announcing this non-existent parade every day since 1986. And I guess he's still doing it, maintaining the tradition.
Well, I feel like you need to switch it up.
All right.
Because no one's falling for the prank anymore. It was brilliant the first time, though. Happy April Fool's Day, Joey Skaggs. You lovable scamp.
I just love anybody that
I love a
dishes on
good
the
prank.
media.
I love a good prank, personally.
There's some real good ones on here.
I
There's
look
some
forward
real
to more.
humdingers on there. So yeah, so I mean, really, as far as when it began, there really are a bunch of different theories, but everything seems to point back to in the 1500s is when it started happening.
Are we still talking about April Fool's Day?
No, what else you want to talk about, Mike?
Well, didn't Batman Superman come out this week?
It did come out. I didn't see it.
No, I didn't either. So, all right, we probably shouldn't talk about it.
No,
Spoiler. It'll be a spoiler-free review from two guys that haven't seen the movie.
I heard it sucks. So.
I did too. My kids walked out of the theater. One of them was actually mad.
Oh,
at
wow.
Superman in life. It just was not up to expectations. He's a teenager. He's having a hard time dealing with stuff, admittedly. So
yeah, what do we have to talk about tonight? Since you don't want to talk about
Since I don't want to talk about anything. You know what? Actually, I wanted to have a conversation about. It's been a while. We've been bouncing a lot between topics. I wanted to do a show where we had a conversation again, like we used to, for a segment plus. So I saw this story about the fourth branch of government.
Oh, yeah.
And what that is and what that means. And I found that very interesting. I wanted to talk about that a little bit tonight, later on. We've got, of course, some examples, some absurd examples of laws that goes with that. We have a special guest on the air tonight.
Who is that? Somebody? Oh, yeah.
An old friend?
Calling
perhaps?
in. We didn't even mention that. We're going to really put the clamps down on me today. I got to really test my production skills.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one for you.
We're trying our first live call-in.
Yep.
In a long time.
In a long time. And I'd like the show to get back to having call-in guests. I loved it when we used to have, high-profile guests.
Well, I'm not ready for high-profile.
No, we're not ready for.
This is
really,
going to be my first call ever. So.
No offense to tonight's guest, by the way. It'll be a surprise guest.
No offense. Happy birthday.
Oh, so yeah, we've got that. We have got, I think, a fourth segment that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not even going to spoil it any more than that. I'm looking forward to talking about all that stuff the most, maybe. And we've got new music, as always, tonight. Coming in at the end of the show, we're going to have a new song called Switchblade. And how can you not want to know more about that? So that's going to be at the end of the night. Right now, according to my notes, is going to be a song called I Am Chemistry by the ever-popular Yay Sayer here on 13 Folds Radio on rifreeradio.org.
Another new one. I might
She only nothing to lose, neither do I. It ain't easy the way I want you, 'cause I can't have you the way I want to. You've got all of these rules and I won't bend them. You ain't got nothing to prove, neither do I. Girl, it's so obvious we belong together. Why are we dragging this out? I don't wanna wait forever. It ain't easy the way I want you, 'cause I can't have you the way I want you. It ain't easy the way I want you, 'cause I can't have you the way I want you. You've got all of these rules and I won't bend them. You ain't got nothing to lose, neither do I. So many times I've tried to meet the faces. Seems that I'm looking for love in all of the wrong places. It ain't easy the way I want you, 'cause I can't have you the way I want you. It ain't easy the way I want you, 'cause I can't have you the way I want you.
Welcome back to 13 Folds Radio here on rifreeradio.org. Still Mike Liberty, still hanging out with my friend Dave Death, making a radio show. That was Turbo Fruits, The Way I Want You.
Nice read.
Thanks.
Nice read. You made that band sound good.
Better than they did. I kid, Turbo Fruits. You know I love you.
Speaking of kidding,
Yeah, you got another
I got
for me?
another April
All
Fool's
right.
one. This one's a
All
good
right.
one, though.
You got to make me laugh, man. Give me a good old-fashioned prank.
All right, how about Instant Color TV? April 1st, 1962. Sweden's SVT, Sveriges Television, brought their technical expert onto the news to inform the public that thanks to new technology, viewers could convert their existing black and white TVs to color. There was only the one TV channel in Sweden, and it broadcast in black and white, so this was big news. So the expert Stenson, this is this guy's last name, good Swedish name. He explained that all viewers had to do was pull a nylon stocking over their TV screen, and the mesh would cause the light to bend in such a way that it would appear as if the image was in color. And he proceeded to demonstrate the process. I guess thousands of people were taken in, and many Swedes today still report remembering their fathers rushing through the house trying to find stockings to place over the TV set.
And
that was their April Fool's joke.
I can't believe it. So the whole country of Sweden played an April Fool's joke on the world, or one Swedish television company played a joke on Sweden?
On Sweden. One Swedish television company pulled a joke on Sweden.
I like a good sense of humor in my TV company.
I thought that was a good one.
No, that is good. I like that one. 1963. And so, that's, that would be a big deal, right? Having a color TV from a nylon stocking magically all of a sudden.
Did you say you had one?
I had a nylon stocking over my TV
No,
as a kid,
I mean,
but it was
did
for a
you-
different reason.
Did you have an April Fool's joke?
No,
Did
man.
oh,
I
no?
don't. No, I don't
All right.
have any.
All right, well, let me hit you up with one more.
All right, lay it down.
And this is another one of my favorites. The eruption of Mount Edgecombe. April 1st, 1974. The residents of Sitka, Alaska woke to a disturbing sight. Clouds of black smoke were rising from the crater of Mount Edgecombe. It's a volcano, a long dormant volcano up there.
I can see how that'd be a terrifying morning.
So people spilled out of their homes onto the streets to check out the volcano. I guess a local practical joker named
Oh, this is monkey shines, man.
named
This is,
Porky Bakar
of course, Porky Bakar.
had flown hundreds of old tires into the volcano's crater and lit them on fire. All in a, mind you, successful attempt to fool the city dwellers into believing that the volcano was stirring to life.
That guy had way too much time on his hands.
According to local legend, when Mount St. Helens erupted 6 years later, a Sitka resident wrote to Bakar to tell him, "This time you've gone too far."
He was infamous at that point. All right, you know what? That is a good prank. That is a good
that
prank. He
one's
became infamous for it.
Yep, I like that one.
Yeah. All right.
So what did you have? You were talking about something. You had a surprise story.
The fourth branch of government. Actually, I just want to get right into it.
You want to get right into that, huh? Balls deep.
Balls deep. Balls deep. I was going to do something else, but you know what? I don't want to water down this story, especially not with a guest coming on next segment. Oh, and before we forget, we do have to thank our generous underwriters tonight for making the show possible. You know them. We know them. We all love them. Our good friends over at MBS, Green Side Up, and Canacare. Thanks, guys. We love you. So I saw a story, I probably Reason. I read Reason a lot.
Yeah.
And it was about the concept of the fourth branch of government. And, it used to be that the fourth branch was maybe they called, the fourth estate, which was the press. And they were supposed to keep everyone honest. But I don't know. I don't feel like they're as impartial.
Well, no, the
as they
press
used
has
to be.
been too far corrupted.
And so now the new concept, what seems to have taken over, what obviously has taken over, according to George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley, in his testimony to Congress, by the way, that there has been a rise of government off the books, that through a lot of departments and appointments, the size of government has grown, and all of these agencies and bureaucracies have spread with no oversight by government or the people. No one is elected. These are all appointed. For example,
but they work for the government?
they work for the government.
All
They
right.
work for the government. In 2007, Congress passed 138 laws.
Okay.
Right, exactly. I don't know exactly what that means, but fine. I don't want Congress passing a ton of laws. Federal agencies that same year finalized 2,926 rules,
Now, when you say
which to you
federal
and me, that's law. That is, it might as well, it's as binding as law.
All right, so but when you say federal agency, are you talking like healthcare?
Yep.
You
You could be
Obamacare?
anybody, yeah. Federal Libraries Commission. I don't know. Anybody and everybody. EPA, DEA, NSA. Pick your,
Poison.
Yeah, exactly. Federal judges. I think this was last year. Conduct around 95,000 trials a year combined. Federal agencies conduct nearly 1 million
Trials?
trials, right? That's the thing that jumps out, right? And they're doing 1 million of them. Trials, yeah.
Now, how can they do a trial without a judge being present?
All right, well, it's funny. You should ask that. That's a really good segue. Wow, nicely done, man. You hit it right on the head. With
I didn't even read your notes.
That is traced back to 1984 Supreme Court ruling under the Reagan administration that agencies, with heavily implied federal agencies, are entitled to heavy deference in their interpretations of laws. So that really laid the groundwork. And you know how government is. You give it that little crack and it just wheedles it.
So pretty
wide
much
open.
the agencies not only govern the government, but they're governing themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. I read of one story where a federal judge, I forget all the details, a guy was caught, he had stripped naked at an airport to protest what he felt was the NSA's, overly invasive screening. A federal judge ruled it, First Amendment. He was protected, he could do it, no one could do anything. The NSA brought the guy in to their, agency tribunal thing, superseding a federal judge's ruling.
And what happened? Would they give him life?
Yeah, they sent him to Guantanamo. Extraordinary rendition.
Did they?
We'll never know. The government's not. They're not telling. They're not telling. But like I said, this is a fourth branch that is outside of any real purview. You can't get reports on where the money goes to all of them. In the case of the black ops ones, there's no knowing who is on these boards. When something is unpopular or blows up, you don't know who's responsible for it. That person could still be on the job. They could have gotten a promotion. You don't know.
So what's I understand the danger without having any sort of oversight, it sounds like these are necessities. So, you need people regulating and managing all the different departments that the government creates. So how do you get it? How do you
take a guess how many people you need?
I don't know.
3 million?
Is that how many people are employed?
2.8 million
are employed by the
federal government in 15 departments, 69 agencies, and 383 non-military sub-agencies.
Working beyond the people's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, yeah.
It's
kind of mind-boggling.
That's where, we talk all the time about how it seems like there's this systemic problem of too much government. And it's easy to say that, but I feel it's like that's a place where it is. If you cut that out and the government that was left behind, it seems like a lot more breathing room. And that, you've got Congress, Senate, executive branch, and all of this stuff goes hand in hand with the whole expansion.
Well, I can see employing these people. You need people to manage and run the different facilities that we set up.
Right, 3 million's a lot of employees.
Well, there's a lot of different healthcare systems. You got one different facility for each state. They're probably managing. All the welfare offices, all the Social Security offices and all that state. I can see the amount of people isn't what bothers me. It's that allowing them to regulate themselves.
Mm-hmm. And regulate us, really. Like I said, when you look at the sheer volume, if you consider, rules 3,000 in a year of these new de facto laws on your life, when those that you elected, those that, according to the Constitution, this is all outside the Constitution, really. This is based on a Supreme Court, reading. I don't think the Founding Fathers intended for this type of government. In fact, I think the government was set up specifically to eliminate this kind of stuff.
No, but I think that what I'm trying to say is I see the need for this. But I don't see the need for Congress should be regulating these different departments. Any rules and regulations that they have to pass should be passed through Congress, not a couple of volunteer workers that come out of school to help run an office.
So which means you can reduce that 3 million by quite a bit, though.
Yeah.
If you're talking Congress and each with a staff of aides or what have you, and just the other side of the coin is. And you slow down the demand for new laws, for new regulations. For me, that's the whole thing. You're looking at a lot of regulations that 3,000 a year seems like excessive to me.
Yeah, well, they're trying to compact us into our little safe zones.
Exactly. And I don't go for that.
No collecting rainwater, no fishing in the spring.
You said you had some more fun stuff to talk about. Why don't you take us out of this segment?
All right.
Something light and breezy.
You know what? Let's demonstrate some of these absurd laws.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Okay. Here's a law. Equal weapons for self-defense. If you're attacked in Arizona, you're only supposed to use the same weapon as the attacker. That means it would be illegal for a person being attacked with a knife to use a gun or a bat to defend himself.
So if someone's attacking you with a stone-headed club, you have to be like, can you wait for a moment while I fasten my own?
It's a legal doctrine called escalating violence.
Does that include getting in a fight on an escalator?
It is illegal to use canned corn as bait for fish in Oregon.
Why? Does it say why?
It doesn't say why. That's
Oh, okay. It just is, so don't ask.
All right. In New York City, it's illegal for any business to serve coffee to customers.
That's
All right. The owner
crazy.
of a tobacco shop learned this the hard way when he set up a coffee machine for patrons. City official told him fines can range from $200 to $2,000
for serving coffee?
for serving coffee. He could get a restaurant license and serve coffee, but then smoking would be banned because it would be a restaurant.
Tell me again where those 3,000 laws a year are going. Dude, that is such a crisscross.
In Pennsylvania, it is illegal to hunt any animal except for foxes, crows, and coyotes on a Sunday.
That's some good hunting. If you can bag all three in a day, you can run the cycle.
Greased pig contests are illegal in Minnesota.
That's terrible. Greased pig contests are what this country
It
was founded on.
Oh, let's see. Here's a good one. I agree with this law. It's against the law to have sex with a corpse in Illinois. I just don't know why they needed to make a law for that. That's
Yeah.
what baffles me.
And well, why is it noteworthy that Illinois, just do the rest of the states not have a
I guess
law?
that's the only any other state you're free to
You're
fuck
free to
whoever
fuck a
you
corpse.
want.
Anyone you want. Wow. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I think I teased the whole secret guest bit. I'm gonna give the name. I'm gonna tell who's coming up with us in the next segment. That is none other than our old friend, the Mile High correspondent, Spock in Colorado, joining us on these airwaves once again next segment. But we have more than that. We've also got Raimondo, Walking Dead, and Monkey Meat all coming up here in the second half of 13 Folds Radio on rifreeradio.org.
Breaking rocks in a hot sun. I fought the law and a law won. I fought the law and a law won. I needed money 'cause I had none. I
And we're back here on 13 Folds Radio on rifreeradio.org. That was the Arcs singing the very cool Blessed and Burned. Nice choice this week, David.
Thank you. I like to throw a good one in there every once in a while. Listen, I believe we have a caller on the line.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
not sure if he's there yet. Spock, are you
Can
there?
you hear me? Yeah.
Hey,
he's there.
This is Spock. How you doing?
We have contact. We're doing great, Spock. How are you?
Oh, excellent. I guess this is maybe we could call this First Contact, which sounds kind of sci-fi. I like that.
First contact here
First Croncat.
on rifreeradio.org. We're live to the Rocky Mountain State of Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, indeed. This is Spock from Colorado, and hello to all you smart people out there. And very much nice to hear you guys again. Mike Liberty, Dave Death. This is great.
It's been a while. We miss you. Happy birthday, by the way.
You knew that today, this is not an April Fool. You knew that today happens to be my birthday. That is so crazy and weird. I don't know what my mother was thinking of. But anyway.
Couldn't hold you in for a few more hours.
Well, I know. It's like, come on. No one ever believes me when I tell them. They say, yeah, it's a joke. Yeah. Anyway, let me see. I got something here for you.
We were hoping you'd have something for us.
I got something for you. Yeah. As many of you know, Fort Collins, Colorado, which is where I am, was the first place in the United States, perhaps where it has it on the globe. We are the first place that sold marijuana legally for both for either medical use and or recreational use. Many of us are very proud about that, and that's where we're coming from.
Blazing the trails, literally, over there.
Well, it's funny you say that, because that's exactly one of the words on my little prompt sheet here. It's exactly one of the words that I wrote, is that Colorado is indeed trailblazing in the marijuana industry. And here you go. Here's the sticky part. And all its regulations. This is an industry that still is in its babyhood. And getting the regulations squared away is kind of a tedious process. One of the things that I want to talk about tonight is that there's a vote coming up on October 1st.
Well, what kind of vote?
Well, as you know, one of the main problems that keeps being chased here about marijuana is its edibles.
That's a problem, and they deal with that everywhere there's legalization. Even in the medical, where it's just legalized for medical use, we're dealing with that.
The industry here in Fort Collins is always coming up with a wide variety of infusing edibles with cannabis, but still not wanting not only to break any laws, but also not wanting to hurt anybody that shouldn't be getting any pot in their edibles and so on.
Some candy or something that a kid gets a hold of.
Absolutely. And for instance, I was in my favorite pot shop the other day, Choice Organics. I'm giving them what's it called? A plug.
You give it.
That's illegal, but we'll talk about that later.
Oops. Okay. I was lying then, so it's okay.
And that's all right. Finish this story, because I actually want to have your opinion on the thing that we're talking about with advertising, so we can talk about that as soon as you're done making this point.
All right. I won't make this too long because
too late.
Yeah. not all the edibles are sweets. There's now, I was in there, rosemary cheddar crackers, infused protein powder.
That sounds great,
A
though.
whole line. Oh, a whole line of gluten-free marijuana products. See how
For
far
those that can't tolerate the gluten, but they need the THC.
Yeah, you just lost
There
me.
you go. There you go. Yeah. And it's always been, Well, anyway, the state has issued, Colorado has issued a mandated serving size, as we all probably know, of THC of 10 milligrams. And for instance, so like a chocolate bar must now be segmented into easily separated squares of chocolate with no more than, 10,
So
10,
you can
10.
still eat 6 or 7 of those pieces. It doesn't say you can't, right?
Well, sure. Yeah.
So then what's it matter?
Yeah, you can sit and drink a pint of whiskey if you want to. However, on October 1st, this Colorado's supposed to. It's got a ballot question. They want to have, and I think this is good, and I think this is pro pot. Each square of chocolate or edible material must be stamped, marked, or embossed with a universal symbol denoting that it's made of marijuana and its THC content. This symbol has already been chosen, and it applies to both medical and recreational edibles. And, Fort Collins has this group of people who are trying to make this work, make it nice and safe, make it so that keep cannabis and other substances out of the hands of kids and teens.
Which I agree with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we all support that.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
mind finding the way that you can incorporate having legalized marijuana into a society.
Absolutely, and I thought that I'd just start with bring this out, with our first here, because this has been a slight problem, or people have been predicting
Talk
it
about
might be.
champagne problems, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude, you got some nerve coming on our radio show and complaining that they want to limit you to 10 1-ounce pieces of chocolate per bar of infused edibles. Oh,
All right, so I have a question for you, Spock. What I was telling you
Sure, man.
earlier. Now, ads for pot shops and newspapers and magazines are actually seen all over now with the new booming industry, but pretty
Yep.
much like everything else associated with the industry, those ads specifically are actual federal felonies.
so while it's legal locally,
I'm not sure. I'm not. I say I'm not sure because I don't really know about really all the ups and downs of all of that. I'm not sure if it's really illegal in a federal court.
well, it can be. This week, 8 members of Congress asked Attorney General Loretta Lynch to reassure newspaper publishers that they won't go to prison for accepting ads from marijuana merchants.
Oh, well then that's excellent.
So
Maybe
my question to you, though, is in Fort Collins, in Colorado, where it's legal and
Yep.
presumably, regular, normalized, do you see a lot of printed ads for head shops, pot shops, whatever you call them out there?
No, only a small number do you. But there are every time you walk out of a store, a grocery store, a liquor store, a clothing store, there's always those racks of like freebie magazines and stuff like that. There's always a multiple marijuana industry magazine of some kind.
But you need to start putting some 13 Folds issues out there.
Don't laugh. The owner of I can't give her a plug
Yeah,
of the
can't
place
give her a plug.
So-and-so.
of so and so. She, the owner, oh man, she's one ballsy broad. I'll tell you. She has in her hands at least 2 copies of 13 Folds magazine, and she's very impressed.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
if they pass this law, then that we can start advertising, then then we'll hit her up for some sponsorship.
We'll have
I
a
would
certified
guess.
letter in the mail.
You know,
So-
I would guess that you could probably, depending on whether you want to tempt jail or not, you know, I would suggest that maybe you, if I'll get you one of those magazines too and send them to you. I may have done that in the past. And maybe you could talk to them about, hey, is it plain and simple to put an ad in? Since I live here, I'm perhaps a little bit more legitimatized, and I'd be more than glad to do that on my part.
Well, that'd be great. We'd appreciate any new equipment
We'll
we can
take
get
any-
out of
any
Colorado.
act of charity.
All right,
We got
Spock.
to wrap up this call.
Sure.
And I guess wrap up this segment. Do you have anything to add, David?
No, it just, you know what?
Guys, this was great.
I really miss-
I salute you. I scope you. No, what's the word? Skype.
You
know,
scoped
boy,
me.
you
Scoped
can
him
tell
up.
I'm so technological. Yeah. This has been great, and I'll be in touch with you in a number of ways. And,
Well, hopefully
I'm
you
looking
give us a-
forward, unless this didn't go well, or unless you don't like
If
me
you don't hear
anymore,
from us,
looking
don't
forward
call.
to seeing
Ho-
you
hopefully
again.
we'll
You
hear
gotta
from you next
remember,
week.
In the old days, what did they say? Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
All right, we'll talk to you next week, Spock. Thank you.
All right.
Guys.
Spock from Colorado.
The typical Spock
week
10-minute
in-
call in.
Yeah, you know, things were going fine until the very end, and he just kind of went off the rails a little bit near the end there.
That's all right.
That's a new record for Spock, actually. It's like 7 minutes of coherence. I think he was on point tonight. So thanks for calling in. Always a pleasure to have an old friend here on 13 Folds Radio on Rhode Island freeradio.org.
This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get when you mess with us. Karma police, I've given all I can, it's not enough. I've given all I can, but we're still on the payroll.
And we're back here on 13 Folds Radio on rifreeradio.org. That was an awesome live performance that we just had just now. Thank you guys so much. That was our good friends, the Postal Service. They used to be on our show a long time ago, back when they were first starting out, and they came on.
They were the Pony Express back
They were the
then.
Pony Express, exactly. And that was their tune, Such Great Heights, from 2013, back when we first hooked up with those guys. So thanks a lot for coming out, guys. We appreciate it.
So we have one hell of an ending to this show that I know Mike's been waiting on it.
Dude, I am dying for this. This readout when we were taking the notes and you gave me what the last segment was going to be. You just read the 3 headlines in order. I was like, dude, that sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Raimondo, Walking Dead, and Monkey Meat. And that is a delightful combination. If I want to dive right into this thing.
You right in? You want
Yeah.
to start out right now with the new branding that Gina Raimondo has unveiled?
Let's
for
work from the middle out with Gina Raimondo out.
the state of Rhode Island
200.
has a new logo done by none other than Milton Glaser.
Isn't he the dude that did the I Love New York?
That is him.
Yeah. This
Very
one's-
famous,
this
very
one's not
famous
as good.
artist. No, this one sucks. Milton, you dropped the ball.
Yeah, I think he's slipping a little bit in his old age. So, yeah, $5 million for this logo seems awful steep. I liked their old logo a lot better, and I didn't
Yeah.
know. You showed them to me when I got here. We were going through the story, and I said I like the one on the left, and it turns
Well,
out
the
that's-
anchor. Everybody knows Rhode Island is the anchor. Now they got this sailboat with yellow, red, and blue, and the new tagline is Rhode Island, cooler and warmer. And what, you got cooler next to the yellow, warmer next to the blue.
It's all backwards. And by the way, can I just do a sidebar here? We don't talk about ourselves in our real lives very often, but for the first time on this show, literally, Dave and I are having a discussion that we're actually qualified to have. When we're not doing this, we are both marketing and design professionals with about 30 years of experience.
More than that, probably
we-
like close to 40 now.
There you go. You're right. And so when we actually have this conversation, we're not shooting out our asses like we normally are. I think we know what we're talking about. Dude,
Well, see,
the
I
cooler,
understand
the
this-
colors are wrong.
The sailboat, Newport's the sailing
It doesn't
capital of
really
the world.
look like a sailboat. It looks like a shark fin. That's what you see.
Home of the shark attacks. And honestly, the slogan, Rhode Island, cooler and warmer,
It's stupid.
shouldn't it be Rhode Island, fuck you?
Sure.
Go fuck yourself.
Rhode
Welcome to
Island,
Rhode
just
Island.
about as cold as you think it is. I don't think Rhode Island's warmer than anyone
No,
assumes
I mean,
that it is.
It's April. It's going to snow on Sunday.
Exactly.
So, and that's not an April Fool's joke. I wish it was.
Well, I do too. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is. I would like to think that. Gina Raimondo, I've agreed with everything you've done as governor up to this point.
Well, not everything. Not everything.
You know what? Let's not get into that tonight.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, go check it out. The website is underconsideration.com. Look up the Rhode Island new branding or brand new.
Anchor down, sail up.
Yep.
That's the name of that story.
And go check it out.
See
Let
what
us
you
know
think.
what you think.
See what you think. You can post comments to our Facebook page.
And speaking of letting us know what you think, Mike, are you up to date with The Walking Dead?
I am up to date. I have seen the most recent episode, and this is going to be spoiler filled. So, spoiler alert. Turn off the radio. Walk away. Never listen to the show again.
Well-
if you're not, we could be talking about The Walking Dead
Next
at any
week,
point.
listen. Next week, listen, because the season finale is going to be Sunday,
I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't come back to this show after this.
and after this last show, we saw, I believe Daryl got shot.
We think.
We think
he
they
might
led
have.
us to believe that.
Right, but this show they didn't show you that.
No,
They-
and
you know what I'm saying? They
I-
presented a picture, but they didn't show you Daryl get shot. You heard Dwight say something like,
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right. You heard a gunshot. You saw blood splatter on the screen. Those are the three elements that you know.
all right. So, well, the other element that you know that they haven't hid from anybody is that Negan is coming in the season
Mm-hmm.
finale. We will finally meet Negan.
And you don't have to be a geek of the comic books to know that Negan beats the shit out of Glenn and beats him to death with a baseball bat. And
Yes.
that's like your introduction to the character.
In the books.
Right. And I think that that's what's coming.
I agree. I think they're going to stick to the books. Did Daryl die, though? I mean,
Well,
I
Daryl
don't think
doesn't really exist in the books.
so anything could happen.
And in
with him.
fact, Dwight is the guy with the crossbow in the books.
And I believe in the books, I want to say Dwight actually kills Abraham in the books. Too.
Yeah,
So-
he does.
So I
In the
mean, they
scene that
can
just happened.
Yeah, so they can go anywhere.
Exactly. No,
with
I think
this.
Daryl's going to live. I think they're going to kill the shit out of Glenn, and I think Daryl's going to live maybe in a cliffhanger.
Well, we'll see. I can't wait. I think this has been the best season thus far since the very beginning.
I would agree with that. I would agree. And I've liked a lot of their seasons. I've liked all of the seasons. I like this show. But yes, this season has been really, really good. Aside from that one faux pas at the very beginning, the thing that got all of this rolling, the zombies in the quarry.
Don't get me started.
I'm sorry. to even bring it
Zombies
up.
in a quarry.
Speaking of zombies in the quarry, dude, I got to know, when I walked into the studio tonight, you said two things to me. All right, there's a theme. It seems like every week there's a story that you're real jazzed about. And this week, when I walked into the studio, the two words you said to me were monkey meat.
Well, and you know what? It's not even the story that jazzed me up. It's just the headline that I saw. Monkey meat, fake booze, and tainted olives. Seized in international food fraud bust.
All right, that headline has it all. Whoever wrote that, kudos, my friend.
So I guess Interpol in Europe
Everybody's friend.
is running, or has been for the past year, running an operation named Operation Opsen V, which resulted in a number of arrests around the world as police and other regulatory bodies, back to those regulatory bodies, carried out investigations. Now, among the aims of the operation were to identify and disrupt the organized crime networks behind the trafficking in fake goods.
All around the world?
All around the world. I mean, I think, what was it? Wasn't there something on New York?
I was reading years ago, actually. I think it was like on crack.com that the mafia, the New York mafia, controls the olive oil industry. Like that, what you get in the store, it says it's pure. The percentages are all a lie. Like the mafia siphons off the real olive oil and sells it like around the world or something for some huge profit. And what you get in the store is some mix of canola oil.
Well, and that's what kind of sparked this whole thing was, I guess, 60 Minutes exposed it as the olive oil fraud industry. And it's been going on for years.
I didn't know it was real. I
this.
just, for a long time, I was like, I wonder if that's real, if that's just internet hokum.
It is not an April Fool's joke. Now, here's the thing. All right. Aside from the aforementioned fake liquor, tainted sugar, and painted olives,
Painted olives.
some of the strangest confiscated items included monkey meat, illegal buffalo meat, 11 kilos of locust, 20 kilos of caterpillars, peanuts that were repackaged and relabeled.
Not peanuts that were repackaged. Monkey meat, buffalo meat, rancid locusts. Oh, and some peanuts that were repackaged.
But they were repackaged. They were sold as pine nuts.
I think you read one item too long on the old list there, buddy.
Well, but what if you have food allergies?
This is true.
You know?
And they reused the bag for the monkey meat.
So now I got peanut on my monkey meat. You know, hopefully I got an EpiPen.
Yeah, at least one.
So anyway, yeah, guys, that's all I.
That's
really
it. That's
got
all.
for you.
I think that's all the material we have. You know, when you go to monkey meat, there's a saying in this business that's when it's time to.
Once
get
you
off
go
the
monkey meat, you can't go back.
air. You're done. So that's
So
it. For
we got a
this week's
new
show.
song. New song from I think just
we
this
plugged
last
that early.
month.
Switchblade. The song is called Switchblade, and the band is Monkey Meat.
Holy White Hound.
Holy White Hound. Thanks for tuning in. Come back next week. We'll have a lot more. Getting closer, guys, to going live and having guests for you here on the airwaves of 13 Folds Radio on RIFreeradio.org.
Sitting in the backseat, sucking on a switchblade. Whispering in my ear, but I cannot hear what you say. Your mama should have loved you, but I know she's an animal. Even if she loves you, she's riding with her hands full. Sometimes all you need is just a taste. You did what you could to hide your deed. In the end, it could not be erased. And you found all you need is just a taste. Yeah. Walked into the bathroom, sucking on a switchblade. Your lips are made of rainbows, you're never gonna behave. Came into my basement, looks to me you're wasted. You said it was my last chance to take you to the wasteland. So I did. And sometimes all you need is just a taste.